Hi, this is the first video about our new integrated reporting application. So I'm going to cover a couple different things here with respect to the admin of the reporting application, as well as how to maintain templates. So to find the reporting, it's a little bit tucked away here because it's not used very often. But to do the reporting admin, you click on these three dots that are located next to your HomeWatch admin application on your dashboard, and you'll see you have report admin right here. So we'll come in, and this is going to take you straight into your template maintenance. So before we go and do that, I want to show you some of the preferences that are available by clicking this preferences link up on top. And what this will do, it'll allow you to set various functionality of how the system works. I'm not going to go through all of these right now, but I'm going to cover the important ones here, which is who gets to send the emails, who gets to send the emails to the clients, it should say. If this is blank, that means every reporter will have the ability to send out the emails with the completed report directly from the Route Technician app at the time they do the report. If you don't want that, and you want an admin to be able to review and send the reports centrally, then change this drop down that's here and pick which user is going to have that right. Autosave during entry defaults to no, but keep in mind that the only time it's going to save a report as you perform it is when you're hitting the save button or when you start adding photos. So you can turn autosave on or off. If you hit autosave yes, it will save every time you answer a question, which is great, but note that it's probably going to take about 3 to 4 seconds between every answer you give for it to do that autosave process. Show completed time in viewer. This will show the user the time that you completed the report. So keep in mind they're going to see the time you started the report, and if this is set to yes, they'll also see the time you completed the report. You may or may not want that depending on how your business functions. So you can turn that off here, and then your user will never see when you completed it, only when you started it. Default report to all positive responses. When you have this set to yes, when your Route Technician app starts the report, it will set all of the responses on the questions to a positive. So in other words, it'll set them all to OK. And then it's up to you to go through and pick the exceptions and change those to issue. If you don't want that, change that to a no here, and then you will have to answer each individual question one by one. So this is a good way to speed up the report. If you trust your reporters to answer everything and be sure that they, review every item on there. If you don't and you want to force them to look at every item, then set that to no. Then you have your report template. So this is a drop-down that will pick a template from the method email application. So this should come to you defaulted already to report email template, and you can just make any changes you want here. So if you'd like to, add something here, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. We appreciate your business or whatever you want to do. Remember that this is a full editor, so you can change any of this text to make it bold, to change the colors, etc., etc. When you're all done with that, hit the Save Preferences button, and that will take care of things for you and save it. Let's go back. This will take us back to our template maintenance. Let's take a look at how this works. Here in the upper left-hand corner, you have a list of all of the templates that you have set up. If a template is assigned to an individual customer, the customer will fill out here in the customer column. If you need to make an edit to any of these templates, you can click the edit button next to it. The system will bring the information up here on the right side. So for example, if you want to change the spelling or the name or assign it to a particular customer, etc., you can change that here and hit save. Then on the bottom section is where you will have all of the different template sections and questions. So right now we're doing the no pool. Let's say that we want to go down and make some changes to the exterior section. So I'm going to pick exterior, and this will bring up all of my exterior questions. If you need to make a change, if there's a spelling or something, you can come in here, click into here, and just change to add or whatever you need to do within that particular item. If you want to add lines, you can use the Add Lines button, and it defaults to adding 3 lines. You don't have to fill in all 3, which you'll see in a moment, but you just hit the Add Lines, and this will give you 3 blank lines now that you can use. So before I add a blank line, let me point out the importance of this first column, which is called sequence. So sequence is just a way to identify how you want your questions to appear on the report. You can change the sequence number anytime you like. So, and keep in mind that the system will look at the numbers always in a sequential order, and it will always renumber them for you by tens. The reason it renumbers them for you by tens is to give you flexibility in how we add or subtract. So let's say, first of all, that this remove newspapers, we decide we want to put that up here between the first 2 questions. All I've got to do in this case is change that 40 to a 15. Okay, that's not going to do anything on the spot other than just change that number, but you'll see when we hit the Save button, it will move this newspapers up here on the top and reorganize. Next thing is, if we want to add new lines, you just assign a sequence number of where you want it to be. So for example, maybe we just want this one on the end, so I'm just going to put a 100 in there, and I'm going to put something really conspicuous so we can see exactly what it does when I save. So I'm going to call this test question for the end of the exterior list. And we need to pick how we're going to answer that. So let's just say it's going to be okay or issue. And then let's say also we want to add a new question up here between 50 and 60, between the erosion and the damage. So maybe we put something in here, and I'm going to call this test question at 55, just so you know that that was the sequence. And this one here is going to be a textual response. All right. Now you notice I didn't fill anything into the 3rd line, which is fine. As long as you haven't touched it, everything will save properly. Up here is Save Detail Lines. Anytime you make a change here, you have to hit Save Detail Lines in order to record those. So if I hit Save Detail Lines, that will go out and save everything we just did, and it's also going to renumber the sequences. And you'll notice remove newspapers, we want it up here in the 2nd position, we put it as a 15. It's now renumbered it to a 20 and put it in 2nd position. This one here that we said this is going to be 55, you'll notice it put it at the right place between 50 and what used to be 60, renumbered it as 60, and stuck it in between and renumbered everything after. So it will always renumber by tens, and the reason for that is it makes it that much easier for you to add things in the middle or move things around. The sequence is not important to the reports or to anything else other than just identifying how the questions sequence themselves when asked, when you complete a report, and when displayed to the client's report. Equally as simple here is, let's say we don't need a question anymore, like this test question. Just click the trash can icon. You'll see it's now grayed out and has a line through it. Remember to save, and once we save that, it will get rid of that question, and it will also, again, renumber our questions to make sure they're always in sequence. If you want to switch now from the exterior to, let's say, the interior, you just flip that drop down. It will refresh, and now you can do whatever you need to add, change, work on the questions here. Let's say you've got a new client and you want to create a custom template just for him. Let's do that. Let's click up here where it says new, and when we do, it's going to default and want to have a template name, and it clears everything out. So let's say this is going to be a home visit for Mr. Smith. We're going to give him a custom template. Actually, take that back. Let's pick somebody that I have in the system for Mr. Johnson. And we're going to assign this template directly to Mr. Johnson. By assigning it here, when you open up the report in your work order and the route technician application, it will default directly to this template automatically because it's assigned to him. And this template will not appear for any other clients when you select which template you want to work on. It's great to leave this blank if you have a generic home visit that you use on a lot of clients. but it's ideal to fill it in if you have a template specific to a single user. So in this case, I'm going to put in Mr. Johnson. Do we want to include the location on the report? Keep in mind that it will put the location that you do the report on the report printout, which means that if somebody's clicking a link or has a PDF, that location will appear on there. If, for security's sake, you don't want to have an address or a location appear on the report, uncheck that box, and the system will not include the location on the report and give you everything else. In this case, I'm going to now save this as a new template. And when I do, it will open up the bottom section and allow me to start working on putting in all of my lines. Well, typically, you wouldn't key in all of the lines from scratch. Rather, you would go grab an existing template and modify it. So we have a way to do that right here. Copy lines from another template. If I click this button, it will ask me which template do I want to click or I want to copy from. We'll click on it. It will bring up every template that I have and allow me to pick. So let's say that in this case we're going to do a home visit no pool as our starting point. The system says, okay, is it okay to copy from home visit no pool to home visit Mr. Johnson? We'll say yes. It will go out, copy that template to our new one, and now we can come in and, just like we did before, edit that. So maybe we'll come in here to the exterior, and we had some additional questions that we want to add. Oh, look, I still got my test question there, so let's kill that. I'm going to add, and maybe the reason that we wanted something special for Mr. Johnson is he has a very special casita set up by his pool. So check casita for security. And we'll set that to an OK response. And we'll save detail lines. Now it should delete that line 100. It did. Add our casita, which is now line 100 because it resequenced. And we're done. So we now have a template out there for Mr. Johnson. So it's that easy to go out, create new templates, add, change, and do whatever you need to. Then whenever you are complete here and you're doing the Route Technician app and doing the reports, this template will now appear as a item default for Mr. Johnson, or if you left it blank, it would be a selection for everybody. Thank you very much. If there's any questions on this, please don't hesitate to let us know. There's a lot here. It can get very tricky, but you've got a lot of power and a lot of flexibility on how you do your templates. And I wish you success. Let me know if there's any questions at all. Thank you very much. Have a great day.